Remember, as soon as you start to stiffen your body, the horse will feel that and you will start to dull your aids. Tonight we are going to get into the balance of seat. This is a very important concept that is often not talked about enough. We talk about the posture of seat and we talk about the idea of what your seat should do, but there's this element of what's happening kind of behind that I really want to spend some time in, and this is grounding and energetic use. So there's ways that this can be done away from the horse. There's ways that you can kind of find out how grounded you are and how stable and balanced you are. When you're on the horse, you're really activating whatever you've got going on. But when you're on the ground, you can really start working on things without having that other presence involved. So whatever you've got in your own deal is actually magnified when you sit on a horse. The ball can give you a sense of what your motion is. So I want to be able to slide left, right, forward, and back. Actually went through that all already there. So slide to the left. And you can see I'm not practicing any kind of straightness in my body. I just want to be able to roll forward, back, side to side. Forward, back, side, side. And just know that your hip has a range of motion. All right, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to be able to say, when you're sitting on the ball, can you move to the left? Can you move to the right? Can you move forward and back? So this is just an exaggerated degree to sense what your range of motion is. Your feet are on the ground, you're sitting up straight, and then you go through those ranges. Okay, so the first thing is just going through your range, side to side, forward and back, to recognize that your hip actually can do that. So one leg off the ground, exact same motions. You can see there's a little bit of an extra challenge to that. It's forward and back, side to side. Now I'll switch legs. Forward and back, side to side, and then forward and back. So a lot of times people don't necessarily think about the value of these things, but the reality is that if you can do this, first of all, just straight, that's pretty simple. When you do it with one leg, it just throws you in a kink because you're not necessarily thinking about being symmetrical. Your body doesn't actually think that initially. So it shows if you have a kink on one side or the other. So by just gaining the ability to center that, it really helps. Maybe with one leg you'll feel awesome, and with another leg you'll totally feel like it's not working at all. And that just shows you where some of your asymmetrical elements are in regards to your body. If you're sitting in the center of the ball, you should be able to do that with one leg off the ground and get that done. Okay, now going back to then what I did is I went back and put both feet on the ground. And after you've done this with one leg and both legs like this, then you will feel, once you put both feet on the ground, you'll feel a deeper sense in your seat. Again, everything in this, guys, is attempting to draw us to sensing and be more aware of our center. The major point of the ball is that it honestly, if you don't sit right, you're going to fall down. You can't just squeeze and get away with it because it is a ball. There's not four legs to it. So it gives a real good indicator of what your temptations are. When you sit on your horse, and I see this all the time, when we first sit down on our horses, the first thing that I see most people do is A, the horse is either walking off, or B, we're grabbing the reins to hold them from not walking off. So I encourage, and we've done a webinar on mounting, and I didn't do the mounting bit here because we're trying to discuss this in the saddle. But what should happen is as you sit down on your horse, it's almost as if when you saw me in previous webinars going from one foot to the other, standing on one leg, you almost envision that standing on both legs right now is on the ground but around the horse. So the first thing that I do is we'll just back this up again. And if you watch, I'll take a deep breath. I'll connect with my horn, grounding my seat with breath first. Okay. And once I've breathed into the horse, then I will touch my horn, and I'm just trying to make sure that my breath brings me down into the saddle. So I always encourage people to just take a second before you ride away and just make sure that your seat is hanging over your saddle and that your energy and your breath are both low over the horse. Feel what that feels like and try to do everything from the saddle or from your energy down into the horse. Okay, so once you've done that and you have created a general understanding of kind of feeling yourself come over your horse, and if you recognize, guys, when you saw me do that, you're not seeing me slump. I'm not tipping my hips forward or backwards. I'm just going to have a straight sense, and we're trying to take that balanced posture that we felt when we were in our groundwork. We're trying to take that balanced sense and sit that on our horses. So you recognize on the ball, if you were tipped way too far back, if you were tipped way too far forward, you would fall off. So that central position is what we're after. When you are not in time with the movement, what happens is the horse doesn't know what's for them and what's not. So grounding has an excellent secondary effect of allowing the lightness of change of request to become very powerful. So when you make a change, the horse feels it almost immediately. This is such a big deal because this allows our aids to become very light. A lot of times people get into trouble because they want to keep asking and asking and asking the horse to move. The problem with a nagging leg is that it causes you to become tight, and this stops any degree of engagement in your seat. Okay, so first off, we want to make sure our hand has the ability to ground our seat. And then the first exercise in that as motion is I want you to feel the horse move. Put yourself into a scenario where you don't have to control anything. But again, ask the questions and back it up with something. Remember, as soon as you start to stiffen your body, the horse will feel that and you will start to dull your aids. Okay, very important. The more you can do this, the better. So stay relaxed, feel the motions, use another aid to support you. Some of you have recognized this is where I'll get people to use a crop, and this is the very reason why I'm using a flag. In these exercises, I'll often carry the flag up above me like this because it allows me to go from side to side just like that. Good, and now I'm feeling the small turn, and as the horse turns, I just flow with him. Again, touch your horn as often as you need to, but slowly what you want to get to is a place where you don't need the horn anymore, and you're just following the flow of motion. You see there, a little pressure from my stick, but not tightening up, trying not to squeeze or kick. Then you see slowly I'm starting to change my energy to start asking for things, but I'm not tightening, I'm not kicking, and I'm not demanding anything of him. I'm not working on a degree of carriage. I'm just trying to stay with him.